Hi everyone, welcome to Fat to Thin Senior RNY. I'm Raven. I was 76 years old when I had gastric bypass surgery on December 16, 2019. Last month I talked about the upcoming holidays and the importance of sharing food. In this vlog, I'll be talking about the holidays of enlightenment and the gift I gave myself. If you're curious, please continue to watch and join me on this journey. I'm entering my third year after surgery. I haven't lost any more weight this last year. I haven't gained any weight. I think I'm happy with my current size and shape, more or less. I mean, I'm a grandma. I got grandma shape, okay? Anyway, I think I'm okay with the way I'm eating. I've been doing intuitive eating for a few months now, about half a year maybe. And as I said, I haven't gained any weight, I haven't lost any weight. I'm still finding foods that I can't eat. And I'm still finding foods I don't like anymore. As I said, I have a grandma-shaped body. But have I accomplished my goals over these past 2 years? Hello, everyone. My name is Raven Crone. My channel, Fat to Thin Senior, RNY, is named that because I'm a senior citizen. I'm 76 years old, and I live in an RV, in a fifth wheel. I don't have a mate of any kind, so I'm alone. So I could use your input to keep me on the straight and narrow, to keep my mind together. Because you know how your mind plays with you, you right? Okay. So anyway, I've got about a week and 3-4 days before I find out exactly when my surgery date will be. Let me tell you a story. First of all, I was in a terrible bind. I didn't know up from down. I didn't know from side to side, left to right. I was in bad shape. My stress was so bad my hair was falling out. I prayed for guidance. I was in a bad space. So at any rate, I decided to create a vision board so I could see what I wanted my future to look like. I created it on the computer, so I took a bunch of beautiful women's bodies and I combined them together and put my head on the top and made the color just right and whatever, just so I could see what my goal is going to look like. And I made that picture of my body about 8 months ago, and I found out about bariatric surgery about 4 months ago. And I was looking at videos online, but I did find the Fat Doctor on YouTube, and it was about people who were 600 pounds, 700 pounds, whatever, and I would say, wow, I wish I could get that surgery. I'm not as big as they are, but I feel like I'm that big. And lo and behold, almost instantly after I said that, and I went to look at the next video, and it was an advertisement from a clinic someplace in the United States, and they were talking about bariatric surgery for seniors, and that Medicaid now takes care of it. So I hurried up and looked that up. In this vlog, I'll be talking about my hopes and my dreams of what I hope this once-in-a-lifetime surgery will accomplish. I used to run. I had at one point, and you'll see that, you saw that picture of me at the beginning, you know, of the musical spread. That was me in 1984. I was 119 pounds. I used to run. I was preparing for the marathon. I was just into it. You hear? I could not stop running. The habit was so ingrained. And I was preparing to run the New York City Marathon. And that year, they decided to do a lottery, and my lottery didn't come up. Now, why I didn't run anyway, even without a number, I have no idea. But that has stuck in my head forever, and I would love to run a marathon. I want that back. I want that clean feeling I had in my stomach and my body, the joy of being under the sun and just moving. I loved it. I loved it, okay? I want that back. I remember that right after the surgery, I felt wonderful. I wasn't hungry. I didn't crave candy. I didn't crave anything. I was energetic. I wanted to get up and do things. I felt like I had a spring under my butt or something, you know? Somewhere around 3 months, though, the protein drink that I used to love tasted terrible. All of the protein, it didn't matter what kind, what flavor, they just all started tasting terrible. Everything was just way too sweet, and it still is. Can you imagine? And I used to put 3 teaspoons of sugar in my tea. Now I do a half a teaspoon, and anything else is too much. Foods change taste. Didn't taste the same every time I ate them. I mean, that was kind of strange. Then I started throwing up everything I ate and everything I drank. Somewhere around the 3-month mark, I ended up in the ER with dehydration and very low potassium. Not liking the taste of some foods and being afraid of other foods, being afraid to eat solid foods, I pretty much stayed with things like soup and broth and whatever. Sugar things were way too sweet. Anything with sugar was just sweet. Chocolate was very bitter. Even milk chocolate. Okay, I wasn't supposed to do that, but, you know, you could suck on it. A little teeny piece. It was nasty. It was nasty. I found that I cannot eat most raw vegetables. Even to this day, I cannot eat raw vegetables. Coleslaw, broccoli salad, Brussels sprouts, carrots that I used to eat raw or slightly cooked, I can't eat anymore. Oh my God, I had such pain. Such unbelievable pain do I get. I get a terrible case of dumping syndrome. My body just doesn't tolerate it anymore. The operation lasted 3 hours, plus I had 2 hours in the recovery. I ended up staying 3 days in the hospital. Anyway, the hospital stay was wonderful. I mean, it was like going to a spa almost, you know. Anyway, I was in a private room, huge private room. Staff has been unbelievably cool. So, here we go. Okay, these are the incisions. This is 1. That one hurts a little bit. 2. Although that looks really bad, it's not bad. This is from heparin that they've been giving me every 6 hours. And this is 3. It looks pretty good. And this is 4. And then it's way up here. If I can find it, it almost looks like it's healed. If I can kind of get you a picture of it. Maybe. Almost healed up. Looks pretty good. Anyway, a week ago Wednesday, I was really, really weak and dizzy, and I started throwing up. They told me that I was extremely low on potassium. 4 weeks ago, I started a liquid diet, and I have not been feeling hungry. In fact, I feel full all the time. I mean, really full all the time. For the last 2 weeks, yeah. almost 3 weeks. I've been back and forth to the urgent care and whatnot. This past Tuesday, I ended up in the emergency room, and they kept me overnight. They said all of my electrolytes were very, very low. I'm about 2-3 weeks behind in the types of food I'm eating. I had clear liquids for 2 days after surgery. And when they released me from the hospital, I was on full liquids. You know, that's thicker stuff. And then they said a week after that I could go to start eating regular foods. Well, as it turns out, my body doesn't like a lot of stuff. It definitely doesn't care for meat in general. I don't meat or fish, any of those. It just gets stuck, and then I start throwing up. I had a piece of hamburger meat yesterday morning. It was a dumb thing to do. Anyway, I had this hamburger meat, and I ate about an ounce of it. I chewed and 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 chewed some more. But my body didn't like it. So I started throwing up about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was still throwing up about 5 o'clock at night, which means I didn't eat or drink anything in between 10 and 5. So anyway, somewhere around 6 months, I decided I really had to start eating some solid food. I tried, and I'm still trying to figure out what to eat. I was dehydrated twice more, and I really have to stay on top of this water thingy. I keep a 32-ounce container of water nearby all the time so that I can remember to drink. If I drank the whole 32 ounces, I know I'm okay for that bunch. Okay. I really can't eat meat. I found that meat is extremely hard to digest, just as most fresh vegetables are very hard to digest. I can eat fish. It's the only meat that I seem to be able to eat without any problems. Even chicken causes problems. But I can eat processed meat, so I can eat salami, you know, things like that. I don't know what the difference is, but for some reason I can eat that. And I find that most times I don't want to cook, and I'm not really even hungry anymore. It's not a bad side effect, you know. In this vlog, I'll be talking about this past year's journey and my successful completion of various goals. I wanted to get rid of diabetes. Well, RNY breaks that cycle. It's a ritual thing for me. I wanted to get rid of the sugar cravings. I had horrific sugar cravings. I wanted to get rid of the fibromyalgia and the migraines, which still kind of sort of maybe thinks about trying to plague me now still. But it's not nearly as bad or as often or as much or as intense or anything. But I still got them. But I'm going to get rid of them. Okay. I think that sometimes you need help in breaking a habit. In my case, the RNY surgery, I believe, broke the cycle. So now I'm at the end of year 2 and stepping into year 3 now. Looking back at the videos, and I looked at a lot of them, to make this video, I realized that I don't have any symptoms of fibromyalgia anymore or diabetes. That is a major plus, okay? I still have migraines, but I only have migraines once a month, maybe. They're not anywhere near as debilitating as they used to be. I can still do things. I can get up and go places. I just have this lingering something going on. I don't have cravings for anything anymore, including candy. Whereas before, I couldn't walk through a store without something. I had to have candy all the time. I had it in my pocketbook all the time. Now, 2 years, almost 3 years, going into 3 years after the surgery, I don't really have whole lot of body pain. I mean, I used to have pains in my ankles, my knees, my feet, everywhere, my neck and my back. It was pain. It was incapacitating pain. I had it everywhere, all the time, every day. I went to sleep with it, woke up with it. I don't have it anymore. It's not really there. My neuropathy from my feet is gone. I still have some neuropathy in my right thigh, but that isn't bothering me at all. Whereas before the surgery, if I just stood up for 15, 20 minutes, the pain in my leg, my thigh, was just horrible. The pain in my feet was unbearable. I've gone from wearing regular shoes to barefoot shoes. Now, I don't know, my feet really weren't ready for barefoot shoes because I've been walking around for the last 70 some odd years in these very constrictive, whatever kind of shoes. You know, any of the shoes that you can buy now, except the barefoot shoes, have tight toe boxes and things like that. So I have bunions on one foot. But that's from wearing constricting shoes for 70 plus years. Now, also the shoes, the running shoes, all kinds of shoes, have a heel on it. The barefoot shoes do not. That meant that my tendons and my feet were not happy when I first started wearing them. But at this point, I wouldn't wear anything else. I'm not trying to find my place anymore. What I'm going to be when I grow up. I've decided that I'm going to be just like me when I grow up, whatever that is. Whatever it is. I strive to be kind, loving, friendly, interested, curious, alive, happy. Get out and do stuff. You know, I've maintained my weight and walking to today. I mean, even today I've walked. Every day I've walked. And I try and smile a lot. I try and say good morning or good evening to people. I don't even know them, you know, just because. Makes me feel better, if nothing else. I haven't accomplished my goals in that my goals have changed. I wanted to, I remember way back in the beginning of all of these videos, I wanted to run a marathon. Well, no, that ain't happening. Not now, anyway. As much as I walk and everything, I'm not physically ready, prepared, mentally prepared to run a marathon. But I did walk a marathon. I didn't do it all in one day. It took me 22 days to walk the 26 miles. Okay, it's a little bit more than a mile a day. The second was a double marathon, and I did that in 26 days, which is cool. I still walk twice daily. I still try and maintain at least 1.5 miles per day, if not more. And another thing has changed. I've gone on 2 trips boondocking with the women's caravan. That means that I went out into the wild without any kind of support, water, electricity, anything, and stayed out and hung out for a minimum of 5 days each time. I plan to go to the WRTR, which is the Women's Rubber Tramp Rendezvous in Quartzsite, Nevada, in 2022. So that's a 5-hour drive, you know. I feel that the surgery was a great gift to myself that I had the courage to acknowledge that I needed some kind of help, and the courage to use that help, and the courage to just go get it, go do it, go help me without regard to anything else. The Rowley Report. Looking back over 80 plus videos, I realized that Rowley has come a really long way too. I mean, when I got him, he was a year out of the shelter, living with someone else who had another dog, which they used to fight all the time. He used to bark at everybody. He used to lunge. He would chase everything on wheels, anything. He was anxiety-ridden more than me, you know. He mostly doesn't bark at people now, only when we're walking on a leash. Otherwise, he doesn't seem to care unless they come onto our property that he has defined as our property. There are still some behavior problems, but nothing like what I was talking about at the beginning of the series of these videos. He mostly doesn't bark at people when I stop to talk or when we're in a group. When we're in a group, he wants to sit on my lap and look at everybody. He mostly doesn't attack other dogs and will leave it, if I say leave it, when we walk by, which is pretty cool. I mean, considering how much he used to lunge and run and scream and holler and jump and just... So to sum up, I'm feeling good. I'm still excited, still energized. I'd still make that choice for surgery again. Because I'm having fun. Why not? So, follow the rest of my life weekly on Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific Time on RV Adventures with Raven and Rowley on YouTube. The link is below. Thank you for watching and listening, and thanks for taking that extra step and subscribing. See you Fridays, January 7th, 2022. Take care of you and yours, and blessed be.